Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Here we are, and there are you. Welcome to New Life Live, and we're opening up our toll-free number for the next 2 hours so that you can call us, let us know what's going on in life, and we can help you. My name is Perez. I'm your host, and the number to call is 1-800-229-3000 if you want to talk about faith or your lack thereof, or trust, or the lack thereof there. Hop on the phone. And we'd love to talk to you. We've got clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard here. How are you, Jill?
Hey, Brian. Good.
Great. And licensed marriage and family therapist Chris Williams joins us too. How are you, Chris?
Good to be here. I'm doing great.
Great. And how do you want to start off today's program?
Okay. Again, confession time with Chris Williams. So,
yes.
I love hearing all these good, juicy tidbits
Jill's
from
favorite
you.
part of the show.
Confession times with Chris. So the confession today is that, you know the Peanuts comic strip, and shows, and it has Pigpen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you got the visual
Love
of Pigpen where you have the dust flying all over the place, and he's
my
like,
child.
dirty. Yeah, right? So Pigpen is a representative of my internal world. It gets so messy so quickly, and it kind of can follow me around unless I clean it up. And so I want to share something about the messy internal world that I deal with, and I'm sure others can share in this same ailment and predicament, is that what helped me get into it and understand it much more is this definition of addiction. And again, this is going to take a little bit of a sidebar, but it'll come back to it. One of the primary psychological definitions of addiction that I've come to love is it is a radical commitment to escape reality. Again, radical commitment to escape reality. And so the reality that we're oftentimes escaping is our internal state, is the Pigpen inside of us, right? Therefore, recovery is a radical commitment to reality. The way I like to say this for myself and for the people that I work with is we need a radical commitment to what is. Not what should be, not what's supposed to be, but a radical commitment to what is the reality in front of us, and most importantly, the reality inside of us. And has a double entendre, a double meaning. So one is just reality, but two, it's an acronym for internal state. I need a radical commitment to my internal state. Because as the scripture shows us really clear, we see in Proverbs, guard your heart for it's the wellspring of life. If I can give you the Chris Williams translation of that, it is protect and nurture your heart, because everything meaningful in life is going to come out of that place. And so being able to get into our heart, get into our internal world is so critically important. And here's just 4 things that I practice, and I try to help other people practice as well, is the first thing we need to do is maybe the hardest, and that is to slow down. If we slow down and take some time, kind of like that word meditation, but really just focus on what is going on inside of us, and we learn to accept it and not judge it. It's really important. The second we start putting all of our good and bad labels on it, the whole thing shuts down. So when we accept it for an is, and then we stay open and humble, it'll allow us to get clear on what's going on the inside and allow us to refocus, recenter, and oftentimes get some needs met, but really clean up the mess on the inside. That's what New Life has been doing for 40 some years, what we're going to continue to do. So if you need help with the internal state with your Pigpen, let us help you today.
Yes, indeed. What is your is? We want to help you with that, because that's what Chris just talked about. It's the reality that you're living in right now. Don't try to escape it. We got to show you how to deal with it and how to make progress for yourself and for the people that you love that are around you. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with your calls. We're going to start with David in Alexandria, Virginia. So stay on the phone, David, and everyone else. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Cincinnati, Ohio, August 22nd through the 24th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We've got some online courses beginning in just a few weeks, 3 courses to be exact. You can find out more about them and sign up at newlife.com. 1-800-229-3000 is the number that David called to get on the phone with us today. He's listening in Alexandria, Virginia on WAVA. Hey, David, so great to hear from you. How can we help you?
Thank you very much for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yes. First of all, I just want to say I'm a devout Christian and I love Jesus Christ, and I'm a part of a church for the last 2.5 years, and also Celebrate Recovery for many years. And but I have bipolar 1 disorder with psychotic features. That's my diagnosis, as well as anxiety disorder as well. And my mother died 2.5 years ago, and my mother and I were extremely close. A lot of people would probably call it a codependent relationship, but there was a lot of love there, and she took care of things. For me, a lot of things. She paid the condo fee and some of the bills, and I depended on her a lot, and she died February 9th, 2023. And since then, I'm living with my sister. My sister also has a mental illness, severe depression, and she has not been able to work for the past 10 months. And I've been paying the condo fee myself and working 2 jobs. One job is only 1 day, and the other job is 3 days, so I'm working 4 days and trying to pay this condo fee and the bills, rest of the bills, and it's just very anxiety producing. I don't know if I can keep doing it. I go through a cycle every week of I start working on Wednesday through Saturday, so when Tuesday rolls around, I get filled with dread about working the next 4 days, and it's just overwhelming sometimes, and I just don't know if I can continue. I've never been in a position where I had to pay the rent or I would be out on the street, so I've never been in that position before, and it's just overwhelming.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Jill, what would you say?
How old are you, David?
53.
53. Okay. So, similar to what Chris was talking about, with the loss of your mother, you've really had to step into the reality of some adult responsibilities. And you've been through a lot. And kudos to you, David, for your sobriety, being in a church, and that you have been stepping up and handling all this in the midst of your grief. And, whether you and your mom were codependent or not, probably, but at the same time, that's wonderful you had such a good relationship with her. And so now with all of that loss, it falls on you. And there is something, too, in our grief when we lose a parent and we realize, oh, wow, there's no buffer there anymore. It is kind of surreal. And you are now feeling the pressure that your mother shielded you from.
Yes.
Right? And in
that's really
essence,
good.
you're like the mother, and your sister is you, and how you and your mother were.
Yes.
Right? In your years of
The roles
struggle.
and responsibilities have shifted.
Yeah. So now it is on your shoulders, and that is a lot to carry. So I think, as you move forward, and it's important to, evaluate realistically, is this a job that suits you? Can you handle it in terms of the actual workload? And what are you telling yourself about your ability to handle it? Because as adults, we all get anxious. We all get afraid. And yet we have to step out anyway. Mm-hmm. And you often find that the anticipation of something like, oh, I'm not going to be able to handle it. And then you actually step into it and it's like, oh, I did handle it. And so it's important, instead of always focusing future on being afraid of what I can't handle, look at what you have handled. Oh my gosh, David. Mm-hmm. Right? Because in the midst of not being sober, right, that you were escaping reality, right, Chris, as you were defining it, you were escaping reality, and someone could handle these big things for you. So you're 53 chronologically, but probably emotionally you're not 53, right? And so you have to look at the fact that you are handling these things and give yourself a pat on the back for that.
I think that that's really important, Jill, because what I'm hearing, David, is just to affirm that, is that it sounds like you're doing much better than you feel.
Yes.
And you're doing a lot better than what your fear is trying to convince you of. So I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to share a little story here. I remember a few years ago, I was really, really in a lot of financial fear around my own struggles and my own scarcity. And I said something to my wife she confronted me on, because I was protesting to her. And I said, as being the sole provider, there is a lot of pressure that's put on me. And then she confronted me on that. She says, that's the most offensive thing you've ever said to me. And I'm like, I've said some really offensive things. Like I've securely put my foot way down my throat.
There he goes confessing again.
Yeah.
Because my wife said something that changed my perspective from that day forward. She said, you are not my provider. You never have been, and you never will be. God is my provider. He's just happened to use you at this moment. And she says, I hope someday you get on the same economic plan that I'm on.
Wow. I have new respect for Ember.
So, David, in all of this that you're taking on, the struggles, the mental illness, and we don't want to overlook that. We hope that you're medically taking care of that. You're in your recovery. You're in your support. But also know that Mom was holding in the codependency. There's a lot of love there. I want to affirm that. Great. I'm so glad that she was in your life. I'm so sorry for the loss. But one of the things that codependency does is it supplants the role of God in our life with somebody else. And so Mom supplanted God in your life as your caretaker, your provider, your champion.
I do find it interesting that David's mom passed away 2.5 years ago, and he mentioned that he's been going to church for 2.5 years.
Yes.
And in sobriety for 2 years.
Yes.
So
the same length of time.
Yeah.
Well, I never had a drug and alcohol. Basically, it was the bipolar and also a cigarette. I'm
Yeah.
The one thing I do is still chain smoke cigarettes. That's the only substance that I use.
Well, and that just tells me that nicotine is getting you to escape the anxiety, and you probably deal with what I call a frequency or a constant buzz of anxiety inside of you. And David, that oftentimes comes from an abandonment trauma early on in life. That I would want you to get into some therapy and do some work around that to resolve some of those fears. Because your life is working, I want to just reiterate, your life is working much better than your fear is trying to convince you. And so the problem is the fear. And we want to see...
Right, and what examples of, where's your dad, David? Is he still alive? Was he?
He died when he was in 2005, but he had an undiagnosed mental illness, and he never worked. He never worked a day in his life.
Okay.
My mother completely supported him. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was your example too, as well as some of the DNA that you inherited, right? But you are working a day in your life. And that's a good thing, right? You're going beyond what your father did and caring for your sister as well. And is your sister getting help for her depression?
Yes, she is.
Good.
But it's moving very slowly.
Yeah, it can. And you're compliant with your bipolar medication, correct?
Yes.
Okay, because that's super important.
I had it. I mean, my sponsor is trying to tell me that my thoughts create the bipolar, and not so much the chemical imbalance. But I kind of disagree with him.
Well, and I think it's a both and.
Yeah.
You know, but there is a chemical imbalance that's why I'm saying that needs medical care, because it's a medical condition.
It is.
No.
Yeah, it's not just a thought disorder. It is a definite medical condition.
In advocacy for mental illness, especially bipolar, let me be clear on this. If our pancreas was not producing the right levels of insulin, what do we call that?
Diabetes.
Now, do we say diabetes is a thinking problem or a moral problem?
Or it's just an eating problem?
Or an eating, it could be. But whatever the case may be, it's a malfunction in an organ in the body creating a disorder. What is bipolar?
Same thing.
It's parts of our brain that aren't producing the right balance of neurochemicals, creating an imbalance. A defect in the brain, and so
which causes. So David has psychotic features. So
for sure,
so that is where a disordered thinking is a part of your diagnosis, and you do need to bounce things off of someone to really be able to see reality clearly, because you can't always trust that. However, the medication usually does clear that up, and that's why it's so key and important.
And that's where it's like the psychotic features aren't the cause of the bipolar. They are the symptom. They are the outcome of it. So that tells us that there is a neurochemical imbalance going on. Yeah.
Does this help you, David?
Yes, very much. I just, sometimes I think that I wish God would just take me, not suicide, but no more fear, no more anxiety. I'd get to see my mother and hug her, and
and
for sure.
And someday, David, but you've got more work to do here. And so you're just, we worry about today's problems, right? We let tomorrow's problems take care of themselves. It's wonderful you have a sponsor, someone you can bounce things off of. I think that's really important, so that you're not alone in this emotionally.
Yeah. And if I may, David, coming right up, from chaos to calm, a faith-based webinar. You don't have to go anywhere. Get on the webinar. It's going to be on anxiety on August 28th, 7 p.m. Central Time. This is free for anyone. Anyone can jump on. Wait.
It's not free. It's only $20.
Oh,
so
$20.
It's basically free.
Yeah,
$20.
Yes.
So sorry.
Yes.
My mistake. Thank you. $20. But really, that's going to be really important. And I can't encourage you enough to jump in on one of our online courses, and especially Healing as a Choice.
That one begins the week after this anxiety webinar. Like Chris said, it's on August 28th, and it's a faith-based webinar. You'll discover practical strategies and biblical wisdom to manage anxiety, overcome emotional struggles, and experience lasting peace. No matter what you're feeling, God's plan offers calm, clarity, and confidence even in the chaos. That's why it's called From Chaos to Calm. Join us and take the next step toward healing, hope, and a renewed sense of peace. It's going to be led by our friend, Dr. Alice Benton. Again, it's August 28th. It's only it's $19.97 is actually the price. But I mean, that is such a so it's not even $20. I mean, you give us a 20, we'll give you 3 pennies back. But
and you're on the East Coast, so it's hopefully after work.
Yeah, 6 p.m.
Yeah, so we really encourage you to sign up for that. And also, we want to send you a resource from the newlife.com store. So many good ones in there. But you mentioned fear and anxiety. We've got a devotional called 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety. You might also want to pick up the Life Recovery Workbook for Grief as you continue to grieve your mom's passing 2.5 years ago. David, thank you for calling us today, and we'll get to more phone calls in just a few here on New Life Live. 1-800-229-3000 is the number. And where are The menfolk cat. Let me talk to you for a second. If you want to renew your mind to see sex through God's design, if you want to restore your identity as a man of integrity and purpose, if you want to rebuild intimacy with God and the people you love, join us next weekend in Cincinnati for the Every Man's Battle Workshop. We've helped thousands of men in the past 20 years, and we know there are thousands more that we still need to help. The path to freedom begins when, instead of hiding our struggles, we bring them into the light and trust God to heal what we can't fix on our own. At Every Man's Battle, you'll join other guys who understand your fight, because they're fighting too. And that alone helps break the isolation that fuels destructive patterns. Gentlemen, genuine freedom awaits. Don't miss this opportunity. Visit newlife.com to register, and don't let finances get in the way. If you think attending Every Man's Battle is out of reach financially, ask about our need-based scholarships. We really want to see you there, so give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. More phone calls coming up in just a moment here on New Life Live. Grab an open line, 1-800-229-3000.
What a New Life course is it's around a topic led by a professional, licensed counselor coach, with a small group of 8 or 9 people on a weekly Zoom call. You're going to go through the information, but also connect as a group. Those group processes make all the difference in the world. And so we have created New Life courses so that you can experience that on a weekly basis. Every week you're meeting on Zoom with that therapist. You're going over the concepts as well as connecting as a group. It is so powerful. And it's accessible. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to join us. So you can sign up right away. With 8 or 9 slots open, they're going to go quick. And so you want to call today and get registered.
Begin your transformation in September with a New Life course. Lose it for life, take your life back, or healing is a choice. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do, because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Okay, we're back here on New Life Live. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call. Brian Perez here with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Chris Williams, taking calls for 2 hours today. Now, if you can't call when we're here in the studio, you can leave us a voicemail or you can send us an email. And information on how to do that is on our website, newlife.com/radio. Here's one of those questions that was submitted online. It's from Deborah. Should I talk to my son's in-laws on his behalf? Here's what Deborah writes. Hello, New Life team. I have a son who may be facing a year of incarceration. He has been estranged or in and out from his son's life because of his drug addiction battle. He wants to write letters to his 16-year-old son at the maternal grandparents' house. I've kept in touch with my grandboy. However, he never asks me about his father. My son wants me to check with the maternal grandparents to see if it would be okay for him to send letters to their address. Should I do this? What do you guys think?
Wow. I wish it was a color because I have so many
I know.
other,
I know. There are lots of
other
questions.
here.
Okay, so I have a thought. One, you should write letters. He should write letters whether he's able to send them or not.
Yes.
Because during the time of his incarceration, it's kind of like a journaling, but writing letters to your son to let him know, that you are thinking about him and all the things that you've wanted to share, whether he's able to receive them now or at a later date. It's like a documentation, right, that helps to confirm this father's feelings for his son. That could be quite a gift to a son later in life. So if it can't be immediate, but and when someone is incarcerated, and we don't know all the details around this and the hurt and what the in-laws are thinking and the mother of the child, but certainly they don't have the ability to make the contact in the same way, and so to have family members intervene and just ask the questions so that he can be appropriate, right? I think sometimes that's when we do have to come alongside people and make some of those calls.
Absolutely. Because I'm hearing absolutely, see if you can advocate on his behalf to open up the lines of communication through letter writing. But I really like what you said there, Jill, about document this.
Yes.
Put it on paper. Maybe send it to, have the son send the mom the letter that she can make a copy of. She can send it. And that way, if they don't receive it, don't want to read it, we still have it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they're not just getting something from the jail, right, or the prison that can be alarming in that.
Because a lot of times when these painful things happen, especially as children, when they experience that loss, especially the loss to incarceration, one of the ways in which we deal with loss is just denial, or out of sight, out of mind, and that cutoff.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, that 16-year-old is going to come back to sort of have that pain be needing to be reconciled, and that's where these letters are going to be important, the communication. But I would say above all else, and this is what wasn't communicated, and so I'm making an assumption here, but whatever led to the incarceration, this goes back to where I led at the top of the show, is that whatever is going on internally that created all of this external pain, that needs to be the 100% focus. Of like, the best thing that her son can do for her grandson is simply get better. And so that's, Deborah, where I would encourage your son of like, yes, I want to open up communication. Yes, keep working on what's going on the inside. Whatever is driving this addiction, whatever led to the incarceration, let's keep figuring that out so that when you get out, you'll be a much healthier person.
Right. Use this time away to actually separate yourself from drugs. And that doesn't always happen in prison, unfortunately, right? But to separate yourself and do some healing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, what's nice, listen, there's a lot of things that aren't nice about our incarcerating system, so let me just say that. But what is nice about it is that there is opportunities to get help. There are recovery programs that are offered. One of the things that Steve championed here at New Life is getting the Life Recovery Bible into prisons. And I've heard so many stories of people discovering recovery, sobriety, and health.
Yeah, you have a lot of time to reflect.
Yeah, and they do that in programs that are offered in prisons.
So to put ourselves in the shoes of the 16-year-old son, it says here that the guy who's facing a year in jail, he's been in and out of his son's life. So the son is basically like, he never asks about his father, because maybe at this point he's just like, do I even have a father? I've never really known the guy. He's always getting in trouble with the law.
He doesn't count on him.
Yeah. So
and we don't know the stories that are being told to the son about his father.
True.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we hear so often, and we get calls at 1-800-229-3000 of people who don't have that relationship with their past parents. Sometimes a dad, sometimes a mom, usually a dad, but just wondering, they never knew the person, so how can they grieve? How can they feel bad? If they find out that dad might be going to jail for a year, it's just like, whatever.
I think that's a fantastic question, because one of the hardest things that we can do in those situations is what's called a living grief. But the grief is, you're grieving the father you always wanted but never got. In fact, maybe the father you needed and you never got. That's a deep grief. That eventually allows you to accept the one that you have and build it ground up, not top down.
Yeah.
And so, and again, to your point, it's like there's so many times where Charlie Brown's going to try to kick the football before he gives up. and that's oftentimes what happens with children and their parents. Yeah.
Another Peanuts analogy from Chris Williams. You won't get Peanuts analogies as much as you do here on New Life Live. Give us a call, 1-800-229-3000.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
If you believe in the mission of New Life to provide help and hope in life's hardest places, please consider partnering with us financially. There are so many people struggling. You hear them call in to New Life Live. Addictions, family conflict, trauma, living frozen in fear or on autopilot, just waiting for the next shoe to drop. We always remind people that they don't have to do life alone. And when you partner with us, it's like you and we are holding up the arms of Moses. The calls we take aren't always a comfortable conversation, have you noticed? But what we do impacts lives tremendously. You know, because you yourself have benefited. Make a gift at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or use our handy dandy texting feature. Text NLM to 28950. You should hear the conversations that go on during the commercial breaks here in the New Life studios. We were talking about Peanuts and claymation cartoons and then the cartoons that kind of, the mom dies and wicked stepmother takes over, and all these thoughts that we had as children that now kind of influences where in real life, if somebody finds out dad's getting remarried, right away they think, oh no, she's going to be like Maleficent or something. It's just like, man. And if that's your story, give us a call. We want to talk about it. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. And here is Paula, who is in Leesburg, Virginia. Another call from WAVA. Hi there, Paula. Thanks for calling in today.
Hey, good afternoon.
Yeah, how's it going? What's going on? How can we help you?
Okay, so I called today because we're talking about internal struggles. And one that's been ongoing for me is the battle of racism. I'm a Black American, and I'm experiencing it now in the church as well. And so I just wanted to know, what resources are available? First of all, why did God allow it? And why are we still so divided, especially in the church?
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit of what's going on at your church?
Yep. I feel invisible. My church is predominantly white, and my pastor's focus is on kingdom living and that we should be focused more on heaven bound, but I still have to live in this world.
Yeah.
And he can't really tell me how to live as a Black American when he hasn't faced the struggles that I have.
And Paula, who are your Black friends and family members that can support you and share in this experience with you?
Well, I guess it's unfortunately we all have the same struggle. So being a military retiree, moving around I've lived abroad. We're back in the United States now, and it's been about a little over 2 years. And just coming back into this area and just having to deal with the rejection of the racism, it's just been a little hard.
Oh,
because in the military, like, we're a family. You have all types of people. It's very diverse.
Yeah. My goodness. I so wish that I wasn't here and Dr. Jackie McHarris was here today.
I was thinking the same
because
thing.
that is her story. Her story of being in the church, being in the military, traveling around, but also finding herself in predominantly white communities or spaces where it's like the felt sense of that difference, the felt sense of that, even the small things of language. I never knew what code switching was before, her and I have had these deep conversations around it, and she's been such a great help on helping me understand a lot more of the nuances, the subtleties, but that aren't so subtle when you live in them every single day.
Exactly.
And so, Paula, I want, as one white guy on planet Earth, I just want to acknowledge that I'm beginning to understand and see that a lot more. And so sorry for your experience. I don't know why God allows evil and injustice in the world. I really don't. Other than I know that we live in a fallen world, and that it really does at the end of the day help us point to Him. I'm so glad that you're holding on to your faith in the midst of this, in the midst of these difficult experiences of it. Yeah.
Well, and we all need people in our lives, Paula, who have similar feelings that we can identify with. As much as we want diversity, people do gravitate towards people that are
like-minded,
them, right? Because we need to be validated, we need to be heard and understood, and so I think, but we need both, right?
Yeah.
We need people that are like us and that get it, and you said you have some of that. But then we need people who are different than us, and that we need to see our humanity, right, above all else. And you are in a church. It sounds like you, instead of going to a church that, is more Black populated, you're in a predominantly white church. And so, what purpose does God have for you in that church? Not that you have to be, there for others, but mutually, right? How can we get past that? And how can we all start to be part of the solution instead of, digging into the problem?
Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
And I find people who have had radically different life experiences where I was just helping a couple who lost a child, and just the insensitivity of people that they've poured into in recognizing the pain that will never go away for them. And so, how can we put ourselves in other people's shoes and have a sensitivity? I think that's important for us all to learn.
Yeah, and I just think that the continued struggle that, we as people, like people on planet Earth, we see throughout Scripture, history, that racism has been, unfortunately, an ailment and evil that has perpetuated unbelievable amounts of harm on planet Earth. With that said, I also think that working through that is that a lot of times I see that in my own, community of white evangelicalism, and that there tends to be a defensiveness that I'm not racist today. And what I find is that that's unhelpful. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm trying to not, defend against my own racism, but it blocks me from being able to understand and get into Paula's life, to understand what her experience is. Right. And that's where I want to encourage, us white people, especially us white guys, to hey, we can have our perspective, we can have our experience, and maybe there's some things put on us that we don't really feel as a reflection of us. Regardless of that, I think the continued work of moving into Paula's life and being like, what is it like? And sometimes
and just being a friend.
Yeah, totally.
Being a friend.
Yeah. But Paula, what I want to really encourage you with is, do you listen to the show much?
I do every day.
Okay.
Just about every day.
So you got to call back when Jackie's here.
Well, that, and look, Jackie, Dr. Jackie Mack Harris up on, look her up online. She has a counseling service out here, a nonprofit called The Bridge. I want to encourage you to reach out to her, because I do believe that there is so much that you have in common. She could be such a huge resource of support and love and encouragement to you. And listen, I go to Jackie. I just hung out with her last night. I go to her for wisdom all the time. She is a storehouse of wisdom. So I want you to encourage you to really reach out to her.
I'll certainly do that. Thank you.
So, Paula, what do you wish your pastor at your church would do? What would make a difference?
Yeah.
I wish that he would see me. I really feel invisible at this church. Like, there are people at the church who still, I don't even know their name, and I've been going there for almost 2 years now. And I think if we could just have a conversation, like, can we just talk about it? But it's like people are hesitant to talk about the racism.
Yeah.
You know, and he just doesn't want to acknowledge it. You can't focus on that. But that's a part of my life.
Yeah.
So you're asking me to not be who I am.
Well, kind of like what Chris said. Well, I'm not racist, so nobody else is. Or maybe that's what he might be thinking.
Well, and unfortunately, we have not been well equipped to talk about it.
People are ignorant.
Well, we've been well equipped to argue about it.
Yeah,
we've been well equipped to defend against it, but we haven't been well equipped to sit down and break bread and have conversations about it. Yeah.
Well, Paula, thank you for calling in to New Life Live today. And I just checked the schedule. It looks like Jackie will be here next week with us, so maybe you can call in then. And in the meantime, look up her information online. Jackie Mack Harris is her name. She's based here in California, but you can find some information there.
Yeah.
What resource shall we send to Paula for calling in today? I love that we do this to everybody who calls into the radio program. We try to find a resource from the newlife.com store that we can send to help you with your
Let's think about it at the break, maybe. And then...
sure.
Absolutely.
We can do that. Okay, Paula, don't hang up, because we're going to convene. We're not going to talk about old Disney movies or Peanuts cartoons. We're going to have a serious conversation about what book to send you there in Leesburg, Virginia. Thanks for calling in today. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we invite you to call us during this break. We're going to be in the studio for another hour. We would love to hear from you. Let us know what's going on in your life, what struggles you're facing, maybe with your family or at your workplace, or school's coming up. Maybe you're dreading going back to school, or you're dreading sending your kids off to school, or maybe the empty nest syndrome is setting in. Call us up. We are here for you. New Life Live is the name of the program, and the phone number is 1-800-229-3000. Give us a call.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Devotion.
Thank you so much for listening to New Life Live and for watching us as well. We are on Facebook and YouTube right now, and we also have a podcast, and a lot of you listen on the podcast if you can't listen live, and we sure do appreciate that. If you do listen on a podcast, make sure you give us 5 stars. We love that. That's our favorite, 5 stars. We wish you could give us 6 or 7 or 10, but we'll settle for 5. So what devotional did we want to send to Paula?
I'm struggling with all of this because I think that there is a gap of connection in her life that is really like frustrating. It's
and
like
we don't quite have the right book
yeah,
for
we're
it,
like,
do we?
One of the books I oftentimes refer to a lot is the book Save People that we don't quite have right now. But I really do think that 100 days of prayer as it's something that just keeps her connected in that. And I just also want to encourage, and this is not to say anything disparaging about the church that she's going to whatsoever, but I've just had my own experiences that some churches are more intentionally connected and relational than other churches. Yeah. And that if this isn't the place where you're getting the connection that you need and the integration into the life of the church and being seen as a valuable person
that
in
feeling
the community.
Of being invisible. So
Yes.
there are lots of different people that feel that way.
Absolutely.
Right? Often obese people feel that way.
Well, and in each and every one of us, not to the same degree, but we all have a need to belong.
Yeah.
We have to belong. God created us, we're unfortunately part of that is being tribal, but another part of that is that the love of God and we see in Scripture the one another, and that takes work. It takes work and it takes intentionality. So. And I wanted to mention another book just for a general topic on suffering and evil. It's called Answering the Toughest Questions About Suffering and Evil by Bruce Bickle and Stan Jan. Oh, that's good.
So,
yeah,
I actually went to a class with them, and it was good.
Yeah, all right.
That's great.
And Paula, we don't know the size of your church either, if small groups are available, or maybe you can find a life recovery group near you, and that way it's just a small group of like-minded people, and you can just do life together, because that's what we try. That's what we're all about here at New Life Live. Okay, look, another call from WAVA. We're number 1. It's WAVA Day here on New Life Live. Marcia in Washington, D.C., welcome to New Life Live. Thanks for calling 1-800-229-3000.
Yes. Hello, and thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. I have a 24-year-old who's pregnant. We don't know when she's due. We got the information back in October that she was. She told me, and I said, okay, take a pregnancy test for me, because I don't have paperwork. You don't have any paperwork to validate for me. He proceeded to take it after work, went to the bathroom to take it, then said, I don't have time for this, and came out. So we've been in limbo land from October of last year to now. There's no paperwork to say yes. There's no.
Well, is there have you seen her, Marcia? There would be evidence.
She lives with us. She lives with us.
Is her body changing?
Yes, changing. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So my thing is, I have to deal with me, because I know children are a blessing from God. Yes, I know that. It's a blessing.
But
I'm like, oh, this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because I have custody of the other 2, who's 7 and 8 years old.
Oh, she has 2 other kids on top of the one that she's pregnant with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I've called before. Y'all talked to me. She's had, I don't really know if you remember, I've talked to you all, per se. But she has had trauma, human trafficking. She's had sexual abuse, and whatever else has been going on with life. We went through counseling with her. Didn't work. I don't want to have counseling, and she doesn't have no counseling. And it's been ongoing. So I'm like, what do you want us to do? We can only support you, but you tie our hands because you're not taking, you're not taking the steps to at least do for your, at least help support you in that way.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here, the family, which she has 2 other brothers. I mean, she has a sister and a brother. And it affects the whole house.
Yeah. Chris, what do you say to Marcia?
We don't know what to do. I mean, we don't have, like I say, we can't confirm, okay, how far is she? So we get this out in the air stuff. Like, oh, it's induced labor. If the date there's no date settled. This has been going on for the last...
Is she getting medical care?
That's what we don't know. I don't know.
So she
lives with you.
But she's not giving you any information.
No, and we don't have, say, a message on the phone saying your appointment is blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
We don't have paperwork. If she's been, we don't have the paperwork. It's always, it's tomorrow. My appointment's tomorrow. Ask the sister, did she go out?
Is she struggling with substance use or substance abuse?
She drinks and she has her weed, so she does that.
Okay. Yeah, so obviously...
She's bipolar. So, yeah, I get those things.
Well...
It's just I need to do for me. My feeling,
well,
daily routine.
And Marcia, you're in an impossible situation. Like, I just want to recognize
definitely.
that. Yeah, because it's like you love your daughter. You're going to love your grandchildren. But there is the consequences, the unfortunate and unjust consequences of your daughter's abuse and trauma that she is living out over. She's both medicating and living out over and over and over again. And you're left dealing with the aftermath of all of that.
All of that.
And she's refusing to take any responsibility.
Or get help.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so...
get the help. And to see that we can help. We can support her. Once you get the help, we can come alongside. And support. But if you're going in that, I always call it a merry-go-round of life, it don't get better.
For sure.
It gets worse.
So, Marcia, the one thing that I think that you need to start looking in the direction of is boundaries. Because there is this horrible reality that you are powerless against your daughter's mental illness, against her trauma, and ultimately against her choices and behaviors. Now, and I'm not even, I don't believe your daughter should be punished. I don't think your daughter should, but there has to be something in play for your daughter to sort of get the help that she needs. As long as she lives comfortably with you, she has no incentive to get the help that she needs. And I think that there's stronger...
sorry to interrupt, but doing the weed and the alcohol, well, first of all, while pregnant...
Oh, it's very dangerous.
Right, it's very dangerous, and you are powerless to protect this child, but she's numbing out.
Yeah.
Right? So she's, trying to escape reality, and so it makes her not care.
Yeah.
So that, it sounds like she's denying this pregnancy, and yet, this baby should be coming, any time now.
Oh, any day,
Right? It's been since October, Marcia?
So the math is, in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and maybe it was the end of October, because right now she'd be a month overdue, I think.
Well, I think getting into you have the right question, Marcia. Getting into your own recovery, getting into your own support group, And also, I think getting into like Take Your Life Back would be a great place to start here, to start understanding what can I do in the midst of my powerlessness with my daughter's situation.
We'll send you a copy of Take Your Life Back for calling in today, and we also encourage you to sign up for the Take Your Life Back online course that begins in just a few weeks. All right, we're going to be in the studio for another hour. If you're on hold right now, stay on hold. We'll get to you in just a bit.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.